Hi, this is Glenn. Welcome to the first in our video series on using the Catalyst Cloud. In this episode, we will look at how to go about launching your first Linux instance. Let's start by logging into the dashboard. From here we can see that we are logged into the Pororua region, which is the default, and we can also see the current project name. As a new user to the Catalyst Cloud, your initial cloud project will come with a pre-configured private network and a router connected to the internet. Before we can launch our first instance, however, there are a couple of other steps that need to be completed first. If you are following along and do not already have an SSH key pair, you will need to pause now and create one before continuing. If you need help on how to do this, see the comment section below for more information. So let's get started. Select key pairs from the left-hand menu and then choose Import Key Pair. Give your key pair a name and then paste in the contents of your public SSH key and import it. Next, we need to create a security group so that we can access our new instance once it has been launched. Select Security Groups. Now here you can see that there is already a default group. This allows outbound traffic only and should be left as is until you understand the ramifications of removing it. Now click on Create Security Group. Give it a name and a description and create the group. Now select Manage Rules for your new group. Again, we can see that there are default rules allowing outbound traffic. Leave these for now and click Add Rule. From the rule drop-down, select SSH. Leave the remaining settings as they are and click Add. Okay, so now we have our prerequisite settings taken care of, so we can move on to launching our first instance. Select Instances from the left-hand side and then Launch Instance. Give your instance a name and click Next. Under Boot Source, select Image. Ensure that Create New Volume is set to Yes and leave the volume size as it is. This will get set to an appropriate value once we select the image. Now scroll down until you can see Ubuntu 16.04 and click the arrow on the right to select. Scroll back up to confirm that the correct image is selected and the volume size has been set. Click Next. The flavor refers to the size of the instance and determines how many virtual CPUs and the amount of RAM that is allocated to it. Click on vCPUs to sort the flavors and select C1.C1R1 and click Next. As the predefined network was the only one available, this has been allocated for us. There are no network ports defined yet, so we can skip straight to security groups. The default group is already allocated, but we will also need to add the group we created earlier. The final step required to get our instance ready to launch is to make sure our SSH key is added to provide access once it is online. Again, as it is the only key available, it has been allocated for us. Let's launch our instance. As we can see, our instance is now up and running. In order to reach it from the outside world though, we will need to assign it a floating IP address, which is the public address that will be accessible over the internet. While we could manage our IP address from the floating IPs option, for this demonstration we will do it from the context menu on the instance itself. Click on the Actions drop-down for your instance and select Associate Floating IP. As there are no IP addresses currently allocated to our project, we will need to do that first. Click on the plus sign, leave the pool set to public net and allocate an IP. Now associate this with the fixed IP address shown here for your instance. Great! We can now see that we have a floating IP address assigned to our instance. The final test to prove that we have successfully deployed a cloud instance is to log into it. From the command line we need to SSH to the public IP. It is important to note that when connecting to your instance you will need to connect as the default user for that operating system image that you use to create the instance. In our case, we used an Ubuntu image, so the default user is Ubuntu. So SSH Ubuntu at and your floating IP address. And we are logged in. I hope that you found this walkthrough helpful. We will be looking to add more instructional videos, so please subscribe to ensure that you don't miss out. If you have any comments or feedback, please leave them below. There is also a link to our cloud documentation included below, and should you have any problems or encounter any issues, please raise a support request via the menu in the upper right hand side. Thanks for watching. See you next time.